So please welcome Rufus Hound, Catherine Russell, as well as a novelist, curator of Joe Alton's estate and his sister, Leonie Barnett, as well as the show's designer, Michael Taylor. So I'm going to just kick off and ask you both a very quick question about your characters in the Butler Store. Who do you both each play? And can you tell us a little bit more about those roles?
Yes, well, I play Dr. Prentice.
I play Mrs. Prentice, his wife.
And they're very much in love, and the whole show is just them really getting on. I should have read it before today.
And I play an alcoholic nymphomaniac, so casting again.
Well, for anybody not familiar with what the Butler saw, it was written by Joe Alton, and I think what drew me to it is having had a history in theatre of doing a lot of farce, and certainly things that have been influenced by farce. Alton, I think, truly understood that in terms of comedy, there is nothing more British than farce. Oh, Vicar, wear me trousers. You know, it's got all of that. But what he realised was that if there's nothing more British than that, you can't subvert culture better than being on the inside to put poison under the flesh. So if you were going to be truly subversive, then to take something as quintessentially English, and British, but English really is farce, that was where you could inject the most poison. And every line in it is just, it's a vivisection. And so all of these characters that you think it should just be a comedy of manners are instead revealing the kind of rotten core of the establishment, whilst at the same time, line after line, joke after joke, he never loses sight of the fact it has to be funny, but at the same time it is absolutely as vicious a piece of theatre as I think you'd find.
It's wonderful to have a veneer of respectability that you think is going to be maintained throughout, and then to see us deliciously crumble into this pool of sexual tension and mess.
And of course, Joe Alton was a Leicester boy as well. Right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So this production is honouring 50 years since his passing, so we're incredibly proud to be presenting it here at what is now Joe's home theatre.
And Leonie, it's great that you're here as well. I just wondered if you could comment a little bit on how Joe may have thought about the legacy that he's left, and it's quite extraordinary, the impact that he's had on theatre and on culture in general. Could he have ever thought that that would have happened?
Yes, I think he could. I mean, the point is with Joe, he said about his own work, the best thing about my plays is the writing. and I think that is absolutely spot on. I mean, he knew that he was, you know, writing this really subversive stuff. And, you know, he did really, it was two fingers really, you know, to the rest of the world. He didn't really, you know, he said things to his agent like, if you don't like, well, it was Luke actually, if you don't like my play, then you're probably not for me, and I can do what Congreve did. I should just write one play and clear off and just write for the radio. You know, I mean, he was really, you really admire that sort of, you know, he complained about people saying that he was a commercial writer. Well, you know what he said? Well, so was Shakespeare.
The really interesting thing for me about Joe Alton is if you look at punk as an arts movement, Alton was punk before punk. It was, I will absolutely do it on my own terms, in my own way, and I will not compromise. And, you know, famously he served 6 months. But what did he serve 6 months for? Writing jokes in library books and hiding them at a time when, you know, we did live in a digital age where those things could be replaced. He would replace pictures of the author in the back of the, he would be very carefully gatefold and then turn it back over so you couldn't see the joint, and replace it with pictures of monkeys and you know, things like that. And so his sense of skewering the upright and the proper was just absolutely at the core of who he was. And you see that in his other plays, but with what the Butler saw, it feels like a masterpiece. It feels like the absolute congealing of a man's being, rather than just the ongoing process of being a writer and becoming a better writer. It's a masterwork.
His agent actually said